They told us you could hear artillery coming. In the Ardennes in December, that turned out to be a lie. I was a rifleman in the 99th Infantry Division, holding what they called a quiet sector in late '44. Snow, dark pine trees, frozen foxholes on a wooded slope above a low road junction. We were told it was a rest area. Keep your feet warm, don't do anything stupid, our squad leader, Staff Sergeant Hanley, said. We ride this out. My foxhole buddy was Russo from Brooklyn, who never shut up about pizza. You survive this, he said one morning, breath fogging. You come to New York and watch me eat a real slice. Deal, I said, mostly so he'd stop talking. On the 16th of December, the forest changed. First it was a distant rumble, like a storm. Then Hanley came by, crouched low. Intel says crowd armor's on the move, he muttered. Stay sharp. This quiet sector might be a joke. We topped off ammo, kicked ice off the foxhole lip. It still felt slow and empty. Then the woods went to hell. No polite whistle, no warning. Shells detonated in the treetops above us, fused to burst in the branches. 1 second, it was just snow and dark trunks. The next trees were exploding overhead. Airburst artillery turned the forest into a shower of hot metal and splintered wood. We hugged the bottom of the hole, while shards of tree and steel knifed into the ground around us. Snow, bark, and dirt poured in. A shell blew apart a tree near the next foxhole. I heard a scream, then another blast cut it off. After what felt like forever, the barrage walked back deeper into the woods. I risked a glance. Our neat tree line was ragged, branches snapped, trunks torn, smoke hanging over everything. Everyone's still alive, sound off, Hanley called. Most did. Not all. He didn't waste time. If they're smart, that was prep, he shouted. Eyes front. Engines came next closer this time. Clank of tracks, grind of gears, then infantry. Germans appeared between the trees opposite us. Dark shapes on white snow, some in white smocks, weapons ready. Not the half-starved stragglers we've been bumping into on patrol. These lads moved like they had a timetable. Hold till they're in the open, Hanley ordered. Pick your shots. They came into the clearing, spreading out, NG-42 teams dropping behind logs. My heart felt like it wanted to climb out of my throat. Now, Hanley yelled. Our ridge lit up from us cracking. Bars chattering, a couple of light machine guns snarling. The first rank of Germans took hits, some dropping, others diving for snow and returning fire. An MG-42 arced up toward us, chewing bark and snow off the bank in front of our hole. On that gun, I yelled. Emmy and Russo dumped rounds at the muzzle flash. Others joined in. The gun jerked, fell silent as the crew went down or dragged it back. Ammo! Russo shouted, shoving me an empty clip. I slapped him a fresh one and reloaded. Fingers numb, metal stinging my skin in the cold. They kept coming. Some tried to work the flanks, others dropped into shell holes and fired from there. Behind them, through the trees, we caught glimpses of armor and half-tracks easing forward. We do have bazookas, right? Russo muttered. Somewhere, I said. Whether they get a shot, we'll see. One of our bazooka teams nailed a half-track trying to nose up the road. The rocket hit, flames flared, silhouettes bailed out into a storm of fire. Wind for about 3 seconds. Artillery started up again, adjusting onto our ridge now that they had us pinned. More airbursts, trees cracking apart, foxholes collapsing at the edges. Doc, DOC, someone screamed. I crawled along the line, staying low. One of our guys had a bad leg wound, blood black against the snow. Our medic Winters was already wrapping a bandage, face set. He keeping the leg? I asked. If he does what I say, Winters grunted. Go back and shoot. I've got this one. I slid back into my hole. Russo was still there, still firing in controlled bursts. Thought you'd run off to Brooklyn, he said. And miss this? I answered. A grenade landed on the rim of the foxhole, half buried in snow. "Grenade!" Russo yelled, shoving me down. The blast showered us with dirt and snow. My ears rang, helmet rattled, but we were both still in one piece. We pushed back up and kept firing. We were holding them, but just barely. They had more men and more metal, and they kept pressing. Finally, the order we'd all been waiting for and dreading came down the line. "Prepare to fall back to secondary positions," Hanley shouted. "We do this by bounds. One team covers, one moves. We don't run, we trade ground for time." We peeled away from the ridge in small groups, one firing while the other scrambled back through the trees to shallower holes further up. The snow was chewed to slush and mud, littered with branches and bodies. Russo and I ducked around a tree that had been whole that morning and was now snapped in half. Splinters blackened from a near hit. "Add trees exploding to the list," he panted. "Didn't think I'd see that." "You still owe me pizza," I said. "Don't die before that." We dropped into the new positions and fired again. The Germans kept coming. The line bent. Not broken, not yet. Later, when people talked about the Battle of the Bulge, they'd mention big arrows on maps. Surprise offensives, the last big German push. For me, it'll always be that first day. Snow in my boots, breath freezing in my scarf, the sky made of splinters and shrapnel. Germans in white pushing through a forest that sounded like it was being torn apart from the inside. They said you could hear artillery coming. In those woods, you didn't. The only warning you got was the way the air felt right before the tops of the trees explode, and the only thing between you and that was how deep you'd managed to dig the night before.